Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to the General Hospital recap for Tuesday, May 27th, Drew Cain and Willow Corinthos arrived at the PCPD in a panic after Jason Morgan was reported for kidnapping Amelia Corinthos. This is how Tuesday's thrilling GH episode unfolded. When Brooke Lynn Quartermain faced Lois Cerullo at the Metro Court patio area, the latter acknowledged that Giovanni Gio Palmieri was in fact Brooke Lynn's son. Lois also made an effort to clarify why she believed she was acting morally. Dante Falconeri showed up in a distressed state, wondering for whom Lois had attempted to act morally. Although Brooke Lynn admitted to keeping her pregnancy a secret from Dante, she insisted that she was unaware that Gio was their son until tonight. Dante and Brooke Lynn realized they needed to prioritize Gio at the moment, even if they had a lot to discuss. Brooke Lynn became enraged after her mother deceived her for 22 years, and Lois wanted to accompany her and Dante. Brooke Lynn considered it unacceptable because she could find no justification for it. Before stomping away, Brooke Lynn cautioned Lois and Gio to avoid her. After giving Lois a brief scowl, Dante left as well. Lois was left to weep by herself until Ned Quartermain, who was frowning and waiting for an explanation, showed in. Gio wanted to leave the Quartermain estate, so Emma Scorpio Drake agreed to accompany him. When Tracy Quartermain entered and inquired about his condition, Gio provided an update, stating that he had heard that his parents were Dante and Brooke Lynn. Tracy advised Gio not to alienate his family when she prevented him from departing with Emma. Gio was unable to join Tracy's attempt to establish a relationship with her great-grandson because they were all liars. Before Gio could leave with Emma, Brooke Lynn and Dante arrived to block his route after Tracy texted his whereabouts. Cody Bell was concerned about the consequences of the Gio revelation outside of Lulu Spencer's house, particularly for Gio, whose entire world had shifted. Cody didn't seem to share Lulu's optimism that things would turn out okay in the end. Kai Taylor was reassured by Trina Robinson that Jocelyn Jacks and Trina Robinson had their flat to themselves. After talking about their romance, Trina and Kai went to the bedroom to make love, because they were certain they wanted this. Michael Corinthos informed Wiley Corinthos that Amelia was already waiting at Grandma Carly Spencer's house for their sleepover. Willow and Drew were cautioned by Jason not to follow Michael and Wiley after they left. When Amelia's babysitter called to inform her that Jason was taking her from Drew's house, Willow lost it and argued that Jason had no right to remove her child. Sonny Corinthos contended that Jason was carrying out Michael's desires, but Nina Reeves was shocked that Jason had kidnapped Amelia. Sonny maintained that this is how things would be till Willow left Drew, despite Nina's efforts to persuade Michael to make a compromise. Instead, Sonny proposed that Nina could persuade Willow that Drew wasn't a decent person. Sonny hoped Drew was worth it after noticing that Willow had destroyed her marriage and was going to lose her children. When Michael and Wiley arrived at Carly's house, Sasha Gilmore Corbin and Amelia were already there. After giving Amelia a hug, Michael put the children to bed and went back downstairs to Sasha. After thanking Sasha for accompanying Jason to pick up Amelia, Michael also expressed his appreciation for the sonogram she provided. Michael told Sasha that she didn't need to worry because, unless she changed his mind, he would honor his pledge to stay out of the baby's life. When Willow and Drew arrived at the PCPD to report a kidnapping, Mac Scorpio was taken aback. Willow claimed they already knew where Amelia was, but Mac was prepared to issue an Amber Alert. Drew said that Jason was the one who had abducted Amelia when Mac asked how they knew that. Keep watching the ABC soap opera General Hospital, since spoilers indicate that Willow and Michael's conflict will only worsen in the upcoming episodes. Tracy finds out that Gio is family, Brooke Lynn lashes out at Lois, and Michael takes Willow's Wiley and Amelia. On General Hospital today, Kai and Trina make love, Emma supports Gio, and Cody and Lulu regret their errors. When Brooke Lynn discovers her, Lois is running around the Metro Court's patio area looking for Gio. She insists on knowing whether Gio is her son. Lois sobs and affirms that he is. As Brooke Lynn breaks down in tears, Lois says that she and her grandma made an effort to act morally. In order to ensure that Gio found a loving home, they made the decision to keep him close. Lois implores her daughter to speak up. Lois rushes to Brooke Lynn's side to console and cuddle her when she claims she is having trouble breathing. Lois gets her daughter some water and they sit down. Brooklyn insists on knowing all the details. According to Lois, Camilla was ecstatic when she and Gloria approached her with the thought of adopting Gio since she was yearning to have a child. They all understood that they could protect Gio, keep him close, and let Lois tell her daughter honestly that her child had found a loving home. Lois claims that up to Camilla's illness and death, it was the ideal answer. Since Joe's life had just come apart, they were unable to tell her and Gio the truth. As Lois insists that she was attempting to act morally, Brooklyn listens in disbelief. As he exits, Dante inquires, "For whom? Who is it the proper thing for?" Brooklyn expresses her regret to Dante. "So it's true?" he asks. That summer, she explains, she became pregnant. He questions why she kept it from him and whether she anticipated his anger. She sobs that she was at a loss for words. She felt so lost and unsure of what to do, and she was young and terrified beyond belief. She gave up the baby and vowed never to inform him as she was unable to end the pregnancy. For 20 years, she had feared this expression on his face. She claims she was unaware the child was Gio until tonight. Dante queries her once more about why she kept it from him. According to Brooklyn, she had made the decision to give up the child. She felt it would be unfair to put him through what she was already going through. They need to find their son first, but they have a lot to discuss, Dante observes. Brooklyn warns Lois, "Like hell you will," despite her desire to accompany them. Brooklyn lashes out, saying she was wrong to believe she was making the decisions all these years. Her mother altered the arrangement, but she consented to a closed adoption. She ought to have informed her. Her actions were unacceptable. She lied to everyone, and there is no justification for it. She deceived Gio throughout his whole life, her own daughter for 22 years, Dante, Olivia, Dad, Tracy, and so on. The list is endless. Brooklyn thinks it doesn't matter that Lois wishes she could go back in time and do things differently. Brooklyn yells at her mother to leave her and her son alone. Lois breaks down in tears as Dante follows her. Wiley has grown a foot since he last saw Michael, who tells him how much he misses him outside the ballroom. Michael responds that they are enjoying an overnight at Grandma Carly's when Wiley inquires as to if they are returning home to Uncle Drew's. Wiley gives a cheer. Wiley waves, "Bye, Mommy," to Willow as she and Drew emerge as Michael leaves with his son. Jason intervenes and warns them against following Wiley and Michael. Willow gets a call from her sitter just as she asks Jason where Michael is bringing Wiley. She finds out that Drew and Willow had fled after Jason arrived and abducted Amelia from her house. Joss, Carly, Nina, and Sunny arrive. Carly follows Joss out after telling Nina that she will see her in court. Sunny is grabbed by Nina, who implores him to listen to her. Nina is shocked that Jason took Amelia away from her house, and she had hoped that Michael's homecoming would ease tensions. She asks Sunny if he can't convince Michael that it's best to reach a compromise. Nobody wants a fight, Sunny reminds her, but unless Willow leaves Drew, this is how things will be. He instructs her to convince Willow that Drew is a bad man who has destroyed her marriage, damaged her life, and is now going to take away her children. He leaves hoping Drew is worth it. When Michael gets back to Carly's, Sasha and Amelia are seated on the couch. Michael says he has missed his kids a lot and gives them both a hug. As he puts Wiley to sleep, he expresses his love and longing for his kid. Michael returns to Sasha and considers her reasons for not wanting to raise her child as a Quartermain or Corinthos after Amelia is also put down. She is thanked by Michael for her assistance tonight. In addition, he praises her for sending the sonograms and assures her that he won't be involved in her and the baby's lives again, unless she decides otherwise. Willow and Drew inform Mac that Amelia was abducted by Jason Morgan at the PCPD. Tracy discovers the reality. When Emma gets at the Quartermain mansion, Gio says, "I can't stay here," and she sees him poised to depart. Emma informs him that she will accompany him. Tracy bursts in and yells about Drew framing her and getting her arrested before they can go. She goes on to inquire as to why they are not at the ball, what is wrong, and what they are doing here. Tracy tells them to talk when Gio has a flashback to the events of the previous evening. Given that Tracy enjoys reminding him that he is not a Quartermain, Gio informs her that since he is related, the joke is on her. Gio abruptly reveals that Dante is his father and Brooklyn is his mother while Tracy is perplexed. Unexpectedly, it's a boy. Tracy says, "You are my great-grandson," realizing it was him all along. Gio tries to leave by grabbing Emma's hand, but Tracy orders him to stop. Tracy wonders what happened and why he thinks this as they enter the living room. Gio claims that he heard Lois say it, and that he wants to get out of there before anybody else gets home. He doesn't get to pretend he's family and waltz out the door, even though Tracy knows this is startling and unpleasant. Why not, he asks. Because he is family, her family, she says. Tracy informs him that everything in this house belongs to him, and that everyone who lives here is related to him. She also gives him a picture of Edward and Lila. She tells him not to push them away while he sobs. Gio claims that this isn't her fault, yet he lost a mother who was the most important member of his family. He now realizes that everything was false, and that his family is made up of liars. He is therefore not prepared to follow the Q trend because it is a major falsehood. Brooklyn and Dante show up just as Gio is about to depart. Cody is waiting with beers on the porch when Lulu gets home. She asks how Dante is after they have had a few drinks. Cody claims to be shocked, angry, and perplexed. He told Dante that Gio is his son and that Brooklyn was pregnant when she left camp that summer. Lulu says she won't conceal her role, but he claims her name didn't come up. Cody is unsure if they made the correct decision. Tonight, Cody wants to know if Lulu told Gio the truth. She didn't. Lulu thinks Gio heard her and Lois discussing him. Cody believes it was a bad idea to confront Lois at the ball. Cody acknowledges that he neglected to consider Gio since he was preoccupied with Dante. Since he never felt like he belonged with his family as a child, he understands that his circumstances are different from Joe's. Gio was raised by a loving family that blasted his family and memories to pieces. In a flashback, Lulu warns Carly of the consequences of her interference. Brooklyn and Dante talk about how upset Gio was on stage, and they both feel bad for him. According to Cody, they were so taken aback by the falsehood that they failed to recognize its original purpose. The lives of countless individuals were torn apart and will never be the same. Lulu thinks that all will improve in due time, but Cody notes that Gio was raised believing Camilla to be his mother. No one can take that love or those memories away from him, according to Lulu. All Cody can hope for is that Gio isn't alone out there. Despite all of her flaws, Lulu acknowledges that Brooklyn is a kind person and will make a fine mother. Even though Gio believed he was an orphan, he now has an entire family that will embrace him, just as the Scorpios did with Cody. Gio won't benefit, according to Cody, if he can't trust his family, and he has no idea how someone can recover from such a significant deception. Lulu claims that although things appear dire right now, everyone will assist Gio in accepting his new circumstances. Cody advises her to keep quiet for a while, but they both agree to help however they can. Since the heir will benefit him, Cody chooses to walk home. Trina says she enjoyed having Kai in the crowd tonight, when they return to her apartment. Although everything about her is lovely, he compliments her on her voice. They share a kiss. They take a seat, sip champagne, and reflect on their relationship's difficult beginnings and its progress. He wonders, what if Joss comes home? As she starts to unbutton his shirt. According to her, Joss will be staying at her mother's house overnight. They can wait, so he asks if she is certain she wants to do this. They go to her bedroom to make love as she is certain. He then asks her what's on her mind as they embrace. He chuckles when she mentions painting class. She claims that although she didn't want him as a partner, she is happy that she did because he has been the best thing in her life for a long time. He has the same sentiments. Dante approaches Brooklyn on the following General Hospital, and inquires as to whether she would have told him if her hand hadn't been pushed. "What's your excuse?" asks Gio of someone. Olivia snaps at Lois, who responds, "You can't say that until you are in the same position." Before the custody court, Nina confides in Maxie that everything will be different. He pleads with Willow not to do this in his car. "I have to try," she says. "How did you know to come home?" Carly says. After Willow flees, Drew accuses Carly of being responsible for Michael's children's deaths. As Lucy talks about how they broke a new record, everyone in the ballroom is preoccupied. When Jason and Sasha initially met, many people thought their romance was bound for greatness. Unquestionably, there was a spark between them, a magnetic draw that hinted at a deeper connection. Even strangers could sense the tension when they were in the same room, and friends would whisper about their chemistry. According to General Hospital spoilers, Michael Corinthos' return to Port Charles alters the course of events surrounding his custody court. Carly Spencer scheduled a custody hearing a bit too soon because she was so anxious to get Wiley and Amelia Corinthos out of Drew Kane's house. She was hoped that a date would be set around Michael's homecoming because these things usually take a very long time, but she became extremely anxious when she was given the June 2nd date. Ultimately, Michael was still at the Baden-Baden facility at that time, and Carly didn't want to ruin her son's recuperation by telling him about the date. When she heard the news, she knew he would immediately leave the facility. In order to regain custody of Michael's children, she, Diane Miller, and Jason Morgan devised a scheme. They then filed for emergency custody, placing the children in Carly's custody until Michael could return home. Having said that, several people cautioned Carly to tell her son what was happening, but she refused. Carly and Diane reasoned that Drew and Willow Tate Corinthos should not be granted full-time custody by any judge because of his outrageous scandals. Technically speaking, Tracy Quartermain's arrest for drugging Drew raises the possibility that she gave him the prescription against his consent, which would account for his erratic behavior with Jacinda. However, a court of law must also find Tracy guilty of that offense. Additionally, it didn't look well when Drew and Willow were captured on camera performing the act on a nursery floor in the Quartermain home. At the end of the day, Michael could only positively ensure custody of his children by moving back to Port Charles, even though Carly had a decent chance of winning custody. Was Michael made aware of his custody problems and upcoming court date by Jason, Diane, or another individual? Was Michael's departure from the German institution a bit premature? Would this put his recuperation from the burns at risk and make him more prone to infection or regression? When Michael formally came back to PC on Friday, May 23rd at the 2025 Nurses Ball, he looked fantastic, but it doesn't imply he's fully recovered. According to General Hospital spoilers, everything can happen in the universe of soap operas, so if Michael left the clinic before receiving approval from his medical team, could he soon be at risk for health problems? According to Tuesday, May 27 General Hospital spoilers, Tracy Quartermain will object when Giovanni Gio Palmieri moves out, and Nina Reeves will plead with Sonny Corinthos to stop Michael Corinthos. Wiley Corinthos will leave with his son as soon as Michael gets him enthusiastic about spending the night at Grandma Carly Spencer's place. When Willow Corinthos and Drew Kane attempt to follow, Jason Morgan will have to get in the way. In another scene, Nina will beg Sonny to convince Michael that a compromise is the best course of action. Nina will be frantically trying to stop Michael from taking the kids, but Sonny might counter that now that he's back, Michael is so then capable of making his own choices. Sasha Gilmore Corbin will become more anxious about the custody dispute and the fact that she is secretly carrying Michael's child, but she will feel more at ease now that Michael has returned to assume leadership. According to other GH rumors, now that the truth has come to light, Cody Bell and Lulu Spencer will reflect on all of the Gio drama. It's out of their control now, but Cody won't know if they handled things correctly. What Gio heard at the nurses' ball, which resulted in that emotional performance on stage, caught him off guard. Tuesday's episode, when Gio appears ready to leave the Quartermain home, will see him continue to struggle. Emma Scorpio Drake will claim she isn't attempting to stop him, but Gio will warn her that she can't. Emma will like to accompany Gio because she doesn't believe he needs to be alone himself at this time. It appears, nevertheless, that Tracy will advise Gio not to move farther. There's probably nothing that can change a furious Joe's decision right now, but Tracy will try to persuade her grandson to remain in the family home and receive the most recent information. Following that, Brooke Lynn Quartermain and Lois Cerullo will engage in an emotional altercation. Given that she concealed the fact that Gio was Brooke Lynn's child from her daughter for years, Lois will have to rush to explain. Brooke Lynn will express her inability to forgive Lois for her actions with teary eyes. Since Lois truly went too far, Brooke Lynn will reportedly distance herself from her mother for this transgression. As he continues to come to terms with the notion that Gio is the son he was unaware of, Dante Falconeri will have to face some difficult feelings of his own. In a quiet romantic moment, Kai Taylor will ask Trina Robinson if she is certain she wants to do this. Watch this space for some passion as Trina and Kai's relationship is about to take a big step forward. According to General Hospital spoilers, Kai and Trina will remain on Cloud 9 for the time being, but they may face some new challenges in the future. Although controversy, treachery, and surprising returns are nothing new in the corridors of General Hospital, the most recent development concerning Dr. Liesl Albrecht's return as Chief of Staff is sure to rock the hospital's foundation. This significant change follows the unexpected disclosure that renowned and dependable Dr. Portia Robinson had been concealing a sinister secret that could have ended her career and put her in jail. The hospital is in disarray as the truth about Portia's misdeeds is revealed, and the board is frantically trying to select a leader who can bring order back. Presenting Dr. Liesl Albrecht, a woman whose medical knowledge is indisputable, but whose past is equally convoluted. Long regarded as a cornerstone of the GH community, Portia Robinson was kind, knowledgeable, and committed to her patients. But below that gleaming facade was a web of dishonesty. Portia's wrongdoings were meticulously concealed, until now, whether they were fabricating medical documents, hiding negligence, or committing even more heinous crimes. The hospital is rocked by the revelation of her atrocities, and patients and employees begin to wonder who they can trust. A power vacuum at the top is immediately created by Portia's demise, as her reputation is in ruins and legal repercussions are imminent. General Hospital has frequently relied on strong, determined leaders during times of crisis, and few people were more suited to that role than Dr. Liesl Albrecht. Albrecht's medical genius is undeniable, despite her tumultuous history with GH, which is characterized by prior disputes, dubious affiliations, and even criminal conduct of her own. Reactions to her return are divided. Some see her as the only person who can stabilize the ship, while others are afraid of her cruelty and capricious ways. However, the board determines that Albrecht's experience trumps her contentious past because dire circumstances need desperate tactics. For Liesl, this is a personal victory as much as a professional one. She has the chance to regain her position at the top after years of being marginalized, undervalued, and even imprisoned. Those who questioned her, deceived her, or obstructed her path within the hospital are now at her mercy. Albrecht has never been one to forgive quickly, and those. Meanwhile, Brooke Lynn must deal with Joe's rejection. His abrupt disengagement could leave her feeling bewildered and abandoned if she had grown to rely on him emotionally. She could wonder if there was anything she might have done differently or what she did wrong. Will she strive to win back his trust, or will she accept the distance and move on her own? Her response to this change will be telling. The hurt of being rejected by someone she cared about won't go away easy, but Brooke Lynn's strong character may allow her to use this suffering for personal development. It's also important to consider Dante's part in all of this. What does he think of Gio suddenly turning to him? Does he understand the significance of this change? Or is he just lending a sympathetic ear without understanding its full ramifications? Dante's reaction might either strengthen their relationship or cause new issues if Gio feels more than just friendship with him. As a guy who has always valued honesty and integrity, Dante is likely to confront Gio head-on, rather than allow miscommunications to fester, if he detects that Gio is looking for anything more. This plot's wider ramifications go beyond these three persons alone. In Port Charles, relationships are rarely isolated. Every choice has an impact on friendships, alliances, and families. How will Gio and Dante's relationships with others change if they become closer? Will there be further trouble if Brooke Lynn's family notices her distress? What implications does this have for upcoming plots? Is it merely a brief emotional realignment, or the start of a new romance? Joe's change could be interpreted as a sign of a more profound internal conflict. He may be trying to get clarity by separating himself from Brooke Lynn, since he has been doubting his own feelings for a while. He may be seeking a different kind of relationship, one that is more in line with who he really is by opening up to Dante. If so, themes like self-discovery and the bravery required to accept change, even when it causes harm to others, could be explored in this plot. On the other hand, there can be outside influences involved. Was Gio coerced into pushing Brooke Lynn away by someone? Schemes and covert intentions are nothing new to Port Charles, and it's plausible that an outside power is affecting his choices. If that is the case, the truth might eventually surface, resulting in either a more profound separation or a dramatic confrontation and possible reconciliation. One should not undervalue the emotional toll that this scenario has taken. It hurts to be excluded by someone you care about, and Brooke Lynn's response will show how strong and vulnerable she is. Even though he isn't totally certain what that is yet, Joe's readiness to open up to Dante indicates that he is looking for something significant. Being in the middle, Dante will need to carefully manage this new dynamic, particularly if he values both relationships. Viewers will be eagerly monitoring the plot to determine whether Joe's decisions result in further heartache or healing. Will Brooke Lynn be able to return to his life, or will this breakup be permanent? What does Dante actually mean to Gio? Is he a confidant, a buddy, or something else entirely? Time will tell, but one thing is for sure. Port Charles's drama has gained another fascinating dimension thanks to this passionate triangle. This plot revolves around the intricacy of interpersonal relationships. The tangled, erratic nature of friendship and love is reflected in Joe's choice to embrace Dante, while excluding Brooke Lynn. Individuals develop, emotions shift, and sometimes the most difficult decisions are the ones that best characterize us. It remains to be seen if this results in atonement, regret, or a fresh start, but the ride is sure to be captivating. Joe's actions serve as a reminder that the heart isn't always rational in a world where allegiances are continually put to the test. Although it might appear harsh, his rejection of Brooke Lynn might have been an effort of self-preservation. Similarly, his willingness to be truthful with Dante could be the beginning of a more genuine and profound relationship. The emotional stakes will only increase as these three characters work through their changing dynamics, keeping fans interested at every turn. This plot ultimately revolves around the decisions we make and the individuals we allow into our life. Gio has made the decision to open one door while closing another. Will he discover what he's seeking for? Or will he discover what he left behind too late? The answers will come to light in the coming days, but one thing is certain. The path of the heart is never easy in Port Charles. As Gio consciously chooses to cut Brooke Lynn out of his life while also exposing his heart to Dante, the complex web of connections in Port Charles has taken yet another drastic turn. This emotional turn is not merely a change in love. Rather, it is a complicated transformation that reveals a great deal about Joe's internal conflict, unresolved emotions, and the erratic nature of interpersonal relationships. The effects of this choice go well beyond these three people. They will have an impact on friendships, family relationships, and future encounters in ways that will surely influence Port Charles's emotional climate for weeks or perhaps months to come. Gio and Brooke Lynn had a seemingly unbreakable friendship for a long time. They seemed to understand each other better than other people, whether their connection was romantic or just a close platonic friendship. They seemed to be comfortable with one another, which implied emotional dependence and trust. It's possible that Brooke Lynn, with her fiery disposition and unyielding resolve, saw Gio as a balancing influence who helped her stay grounded when things got out of control. On the other hand, Gio might have valued her audacity, her determination to back down from a challenge, and the manner she challenged him. Each filled the voids in the other's life, and their relationship was one of balance. What changed then? Why would Gio abruptly distance himself from someone who had formerly had such significance for him? A number of reasons, some evident and others hidden beneath layers of unsaid emotions, are probably responsible for the answer. Maybe Gio started to feel that their friendship wasn't helping him as much as it used to. Perhaps he felt that his own feelings were changing in a way he wasn't prepared to face, or that Brooke Lynn's expectations of him were changing. Another possibility is that he was compelled to reconsider their relationship by an outside circumstance, such as a betrayal, a miscommunication, or even outside intervention. He did not make the decision to exclude her lightly, regardless of the reason behind it. He may not even completely realize the internal turmoil that is implied by his act of distancing himself. It's especially telling how Gio has cut himself off from Brooke Lynn. In order to make it obvious that he no longer wants her in his emotional space, he has not only retreated but also built walls. Self-preservation is frequently the reason behind this type of intentional retreat. Gio might think it would be too difficult or unpleasant to continue their relationship the way it is. Alternatively, he may be shielding himself from emotions he isn't prepared to confront, such as shame, unrequited love, or a fear of showing weakness. In any event, his behavior has left Brooke Lynn in shock and forced to deal with the abrupt loss of a person she previously trusted.